Welcome, all you Titan shifters out there. I'm Duuz-Diz-Din coming at you with another Attack on Titan chapter review. This time it's chapter 116 titled Heaven and Earth, where we see that the infiltrator Peck has cornered Eren within Gabby's cell. And as she orders Gabby to pick up the fallen soldier's gun, Peck starts demanding that Eren take his hands out of his pocket and come with her. But Eren is actually having none of this shit and calling Peck's bluff, stating that ultimately the Marleyan forces want the original Titan power intact and have stated no harm should come to Eren if at all possible. He even calls her out on the fact that if she were to actually put any harm towards Eren, ultimately she and her family would be punished. And ultimately, Pieck says that she has actually got another reason for why she wouldn't choose to shoot Eren, and that is because she feels that Eren might be able to defeat the forces of Marley. Meanwhile, we see our captured heroes, including Sasha's family, Armin, Mikasa, Jean, all of them actually are in fairly good confinement conditions. Not very, it's very hospitable here, all things considered, despite being a prison. But ultimately, Connie ends up asking what exactly happened to Armin. Specifically, why did it seem he was so beat up? And Armin plainly says that Eren said something that greatly upset Mikasa, and so he attacked, and he got beaten up for his efforts, which shocks both the John and Connie all within the same breath. Whereas John is actually fascinated by this, feeling that there has to be something more going on to it, like there's some meaning. Connie is completely dismissive, having felt that, Eren's reaction towards the death of Sasha was far too lax. It was far too just whatever. And the fact that he laughed off the whole situation does not sit well with Connie. But they are interrupted by the arrival of Yelena, as well as Unyakopon. I don't know why I can remember his name easier than Yelena, but she ultimately comes in to say that she is regretting the fact that the heroes of the Shiganshina district have all been captured, even with Connie even going as far as to turn on Onyakapon, saying that ultimately he has decided to side with the enemy, although it's fairly obvious Onyakapon is completely blindsided by this whole situation. But John starts to kind of question Yelena and and kind of berate her to a certain degree to try to get some information out of her, just saying that you must be pretty good about yourself, because he feels like he's got the plan pinned down. Ultimately saying that they got the support of all the Eldians, brought them under their rule and all that good stuff, and this is all a ploy to take revenge on Marley to help destroy them and rule over the people of Paradise as their leaders. We even have a moment where Niccolo speaks out to Gregor on the fact that ultimately the whole process of advancing the island was simply so they could sit pretty, although Gregor is just very dismissive. Gregor gets really talkative in this issue, and even goes as far as to start insulting Sasha outright, calling her a whore, a bitch, a dirty devil blood, and all that good stuff, to the point where I was starting to get kind of heated, and it was just like, nah, just let Niccolo go. Let him just tear into this asshole. How dare he? But then it's basically settled as Yelena just caps Gregor right there and then. And it's mostly because of the fact that she didn't care for all the hate that Gregor was spewing. The same kind of, Marleyan, what's the word for it? Propaganda for the people of paradise and the holders of the blood of Ymir. She feels that they are past the need to actually use such derogatory terms and languages, and they feel that ultimately they should be united, and she feels that she needs to tell them the truth and the whole truth in the hopes that they might unite under a common goal. Speaking of which, we switch back to Pieck talking with Eren about how she feels that she wants to take down Marley, and she wants to have her family released from the ghetto. She talks about her ailing father who needed to receive medical attention, and she joined the Titan Shifters in order to prop up their standing so he could get the medical attention he needed, only for her to have a time limit and her father ending up regretting it, because even with medical attention, he'll outlive her now. That no father wants to outlive their child. And so she just starts to try to appeal to Eren to get his sway, to get his favor. And she's saying that she wants to create a bright future for Eldia with her own two hands. And through that, Marley must be crushed. And if it means killing her own comrades, she will do so. Gabby, meanwhile, is hearing all of this and is completely taken back. Saying it's just like, what's going on? What are we even fighting for? Because this is someone that, Gabby really looked up to, more so than a lot of other people. Zeke's one thing, but to have Pieck, who, Gabby was actually very fond of, just say all these things, her whole worldview just keeps continuing to be put on its head, and she just starts to really get rattled, and she turns her gun on Pieck, saying, "You're a traitor." Meanwhile, Pieck just, goes in and is just like, "I got something for your ass, little girl," saying, "Do you truly believe that we can be anything other than what we are? What do you think we are?" And as soon as Gabby says honorary Marleyans, Pieck's like, "Nah, that's bullshit. We are the people of Ymir. No matter what branding, what name you put there are always going to be people who will see us as something other than human. No matter what we do, no matter how much we struggle, no matter what we go through." And this is getting into some real racial relations shit right here. Like some real topical stuff right now, even in today's society, about how there's always going to be this line of hate. People who will always hate you no matter what. No matter how close you may resemble each other. No matter the fact that you might bleed the same kind of blood. It is irrelevant. And she even goes on to say, ultimately, at some point, we will be seen as obsolete by the forces of Marley. You saw it in the port when all of our forces were being taken down left and right. When as soon as Marley has no use for us, they will kill us. No matter how much we prove ourselves to be good Eldians, the day that we are free will never come. We have no choice but to take our rights, human rights, back with our own hands. Eren, hearing all of this, wants proof. It's one thing to spew words, because for all he knows, this is what Pieck truly believes, and she's just playing him, but he wants proof. And Pieck says that she will sell out the location of all of her comrades, pointing them all out. Meanwhile, Yelena has basically explained the entirety of Zeke's plan to the rest of them, saying that ultimately their plan is the complete euthanasia of their own species. To which John is just like in shock. It's just like, isn't that just rolling over and dying? Once we reach the end of our line, there will be nothing but feeble old men and women. You can't protect a country like that. You can't live lives. And it feels kind of like a dumb moment. It's just like, I don't know if it's the fact that Yelena might not have actually explained it well, but it's just like, yeah, John, that's kind of the point. The point is to have us all die off. That's it. There you go. But its basic idea is the fact that what's to stop the forces of the world from one day just coming in and destroying us, through forced euthanasia. And Yelena explains that the whole Earth flattening plan is kind of to keep them away, to just let our people live out the rest of our days. And with Historia having had soon to have a child, that's royal heir will inherit the power of the original Titan, and it'll all end there. It'll all die off right there and then. That will put an end to the cursed existence of the Titans, and Zeke and Eren will go down in history as heroes who put an end to the cursed bloodline. And then you have Armin, who's starts to kind of react as if he's crying tears of joy as he's embraced Yelena's creed, and he's just like, I'm so touched by your selflessness. I never knew it was like this, so heroic, so self-sacrificing. And even Yelena is moved by this, but it's so obvious. It's so obvious that Armin is faking this. But we're unable to see this kind of move forward as Yelena is, told about the situation with Pieck and all that good stuff. As everyone is readying themselves in order to go in on, the various Marleyan soldiers who have infiltrated their walls. As Eren leads Pieck, who is handcuffed to Gabby as a deterrent to keep Pieck from transforming, as doing stuff would brutally mangle Gabby. And he leads them up to the roof with all these soldiers following from the various garrisons. We even have a moment where Eren explains to Gabby about the situation with Falco, how he has been contaminated by Zeke's spinal fluid wine, and that he could shift at any moment with a cry from Zeke, which, looks very shocked. Pieck looks very shocked, but Gabby just wallows in self-pity because of the fact that, for the most part, she led to the string of events that ultimately got Falco into this situation. I also love the fact that, our attention has shifted more to Gabby than Falco as we had before, as we're starting to see her try to basically embrace the repercussions of her actions, whereas for a lot of things Falco was the one we were dwelling on, as he was embracing the repercussions of his, which was delivering the letters for Eren when he had infiltrated Marley. But as soon as they start to get to the roof and go up the stairs, we have a moment where Pieck tries to say that she doesn't know much about what Zeke can really do, because so much of what he says feels like an enigma. It feels like a misdirect, like he's never truly being truthful with anyone. And the only time she ever felt that he was actually being honest was when he was talking to Eren for the first time, when Zeke was riding on top of her as the cart titan, where he said, "Please believe me, I'm on your side. One of these days I'll be back to save you all," and all that stuff. And she noted that that was not a lie. That was something that at the very least Zeke truly believed. But this is, completely sidelined as they make their way up to the roof. Aaron orders Piek to, state who will point out all of the traitors so that they can go out and attack. And he's just like, okay, tell me, where is the enemy? And in that moment, even though Aaron is already fairly ready for whatever Piek's about to do because he does not trust her, for any period of time, Elena readies all her men to fire upon them should something goes wrong. And as Piek holds Gabby's hand to reassure her that everything is going to be okay, Piek turns to Aaron and points right to him saying, you are the enemy. And before Aaron can even have time to truly react, the ground collapses underneath him, revealing the Jaw Titan has also infiltrated. Because, I don't think anybody would have really recognized the Jaw Titan in his human form or anything, and so he could have been hiding anywhere. So he goes in trying to snap up Aaron, only for him to only have gotten Aaron's legs as Aaron shifts into his Titan form. Meanwhile, the Jaw Titan is doing his best to guard Piek and Gabby, and Gabby is relieved at the fact that apparently Piek is not a traitor, but Piek says that ultimately her whole thing was that she would never sell out her comrades, but she does not truly believe in Marley. She does not truly trust in Marley. However, she does love her and believe in her comrades. She does wish for freedom for all Eldians, but that's neither here nor there. She knows what she believes in and she knows what side she's on. And our chapter comes to a close as we see various battalions of airships from the Marleyan forces descending upon Paradise Island. And in one specific blimp, Reiner looks down at Aaron in his Titan form, ready to do battle once again. Oh man, that was a very invigorating chapter. Lots of action and twists and turns. Yeah, I kind of felt that it was pretty obvious that Piek was not, actually going to betray her allies, but for a moment, I actually did kind of believe to a certain degree that, not everything she was saying was a falsehood. Because honestly, I can't imagine anyone would be completely down with the way that Marley does things. So having this, it feels like it solidifies that, yes, there are people within the Marleyan forces who know full well that ultimately they will be seen as disposable, but they hold out the hope that they will be able to make it through and possibly see another dawn and all that good stuff. But, it was very clever stuff, very fun stuff, and I really want to see where things go with Armin, who obviously has a plan to basically kind of double-cross Yelena and play into her overzealous sympathies and all that good stuff. Whereas people like John and Connie, they just cannot play around to this. It's not within their personalities to actually go along with something like that. But honestly, that's it for the chapter. Nothing really else to talk about in terms of this. It was fun just seeing this yet another infiltration by Marleyan forces, this time under much stronger conditions. Although it does bring to the question, who will ultimately end up surviving? Who should we even root for? Because you don't want Marley to win, but you also don't really want Aaron's faction to win. Although, given that the last page of the overall series was released by Isayama, which was holding a little baby, obviously Historia's child is actually going to come into play to some degree. And I really hope to find out who the true baby daddy is. I still kind of believe that it's Aaron, because that really feels like the most likely outcome. But we'll just have to wait and see. But tell me your thoughts in the comment section below. How did you feel about Piek? How did you feel about Aaron? How did you feel about Yelena? How did you feel about Aaron and his obvious plan? And if Yelena falls for this, honestly, she just really goes down a few points on the IQ scale on that one. But again, tell me your thoughts in the comment section below. If you like this video, feel free to leave me a like. If you didn't, feel free to leave me a dislike and tell me what I did wrong in the comment section below. And hey, how about subscribing, because I'll definitely continue to bring you more chapter reviews of Attack on Titan. But until then, hey, how about following me on social media platforms across the internet? Just Google Duuz-Diz-Din and you'll be sure to find me. And until then, stay hidden, all you shifters out there. Bye-bye.